going on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. It's your girl Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we're delivering new content designed to unlock your mindset and your actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Like we always say, ring the bell notification so you can get notified when videos just like this are dropping.
Okay, so this week's episode, we're going to be talking about someone who was recently in the news because she just claimed her 7th US gymnastics title. And it's none other than Simone Biles. So she's a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. In 2015, at the World Championships in Glasgow, Scotland, she became the only female gymnast to ever win 3 consecutive all-around titles. She's also the most decorated American female gymnast. She was born in Ohio and later adopted by her grandparents in Texas, began her training at age 6. During a serendipitous daycare trip to Bannon's Gymnastics, a coach recognized Simone's natural talent and sent home a letter to her parents requesting that they enroll her in a class. Simone rose quickly through the sports levels, and in 2011, she began her junior elite career at the American Classics in Huntsville, Texas, where she placed 3rd all around. Amid a few setbacks in the following 2 seasons, she rebounded in 2013 to claim the first of her 3 all-around world championship titles with a strong faith in God and a triumph against the odds. Simone is inspiring millions to dream big and follow their hearts.
And you know what's incredible? I read about when she first started. So in that one of those first sessions, she just saw what people were doing and just tried to imitate it. That's literally what she was doing. She just saw what they were doing and just copied it. No real, and I think that's where they picked up on, hold on, this is just natural talent. She doesn't even need to try. If we train her, something amazing could actually happen, you know? She's got a combined total of 30 world championships and Olympic medals. And she's, like you said, she's the most decorated in America. And then she's 3rd in the world behind Belarus, who I believe have 32, and then Russia, who I believe have 33. So it's something along those lines. So she's doing incredible. And she's so young as well, 24, I think you said she was.
Recent, 24. Yeah.
Not only that, one of the things, so one of the other things is that she's one of 10 gymnasts who has won at least 1 medal in all events at World Championships.
Wow.
And she's one of 6 gymnasts that won medals in every event at a single World Championship in 2018. And she's the only person that's done that outside of the Soviet Union. Wow. And also to mention, she's black. I don't think there are many black gymnasts, are there?
No, and she's the first female African-American all-round world champion. Yeah, there's not many in...
The only other one is Gabby something, right?
I'm not sure. I know there's a couple, there's 2 mixed race girls, I think, from the UK who I've recently, they're really good as well, but it's not common at all. It's not common. It's a bit like tennis. You don't really see, especially in the male area, black male athletes. But yeah, she's 24 years old, and you just constantly see new medal, new title, it's incredible what she's achieved. And like it was mentioning, she was raised by her grandparents, who later adopted her, because I think you were saying, actually, and I was reading it today, and I didn't know that her mother unfortunately struggled with substance abuse, so her grandparents took her and her sister in.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Like, you know, just, you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, and people use that to either to their detriment or to blossom their success and to fuel their success, you know what I mean? And she's so incredible. She's had like 4 moves named after her as well, because she's so basically, like, in order to have like a move named after you, has to be performed at a world championship. And she was like the first person to, I think she does a double flip and a triple twist. She's the only person that's ever landed it.
Yeah, she's the first woman to successfully land the Yurchenko double pipe. It's usually only done by men, but she's the first woman to do it in a competition. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, that's really cool. And like her performance is so fearless, and I think that comes from her natural talent, that she's raised the bar in gymnastics, you know, like, and she's put herself, rightly so, at such a tender age against some of the greats, like, you know, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps. Like, she's up there with the best in the world, you know what I mean? Like, at 24, just to come in and dominate and take over a sport, like, it's just crazy.
It's crazy. You know, one of the competitions, she actually had, she was in agony, like she was in a load of pain, and she had to go to hospital, and they found out she had massive kidney stone, and she still smashed it. Yeah, and they called it, because it was in Doha. Is the US women team, they won gold that weekend, even when she's in agony, and then she called her kidney stone the Doha Pearl. Can you imagine? You're that good that you're not even at your best, and you still like, help your team get like it's crazy. That's talent right there. And then, like you say, that meant, don't get me wrong, obviously you've got to be careful with stuff like that, because it's dangerous. You know, if you're injured or stuff like that, you really do need to get it seen to. But sometimes it is, in that moment, it is that mental grit and that determination to overcome. I think there was a girl, I've seen a video of her. She landed I can't remember her name, but she landed a you know, when they do the bounce off the vault thing. And she really badly messed up her ankle, and they strapped it up, and somehow she went again and landed, and she was in agony. She has to get carried off, but I don't know if she won the gold because of it or something. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but that is incredible, and you see people really fighting through all the time.
You know, I feel like this type of stuff separates you from being average and being mediocre. And like, you know, like a lot of people, her journey has not come from a silver spoon in her mouth. Like, you know, she's gone through a lot. She was adopted at a young age, luckily within her family. But she also is a survivor, and the only known survivor of sexual abuse who is still competing. And the way that she responded is that she says that she deals with it by compartmentalizing that part, because that she can't bring it into what she's doing and what she's trying to do. And that was as a result of, you know, what was going on within the sport and whatnot. But yeah.
That was huge. I don't know if it was Netflix, but there was a big documentary about that. Larry Nassar, I think his name was. And like you say, turns out she was one of the victims of that. He's now, thankfully, he's been sentenced. But he abused dozens of athletes, but she was actually interviewed, and they asked her if she had a daughter, would she let them train with the US gymnastics? And she said no. Wow. And she said, because I don't feel comfortable enough, because they haven't taken accountability for their actions and what they've done, and they haven't ensured us that it's never going to happen again. And she's called for an independent investigation into the whole thing. And apparently there's been a £164 million or $250 million settlement for all the athletes that were abused. Could you imagine that? Like you say, she's still in that world, but has said, no daughter of mine would do this.
Yeah. I read something as well about lockdown, and she was saying that she struggled at the thought of not competing and training. And she battled through depression, and also she had thoughts of giving up, but kept reminding herself of all of the work that she put in. How are you going to come all this way, do all of this, then to give it up and just let it go? But again, as time goes on, like, you have to be in such prime and peak position, condition, in order to perform for gymnastics as well, because you have to stay so flexible. That is a sport where you have to stay flexible and strong as well. And so some of the characteristics that she has is that all or nothing mentality and the laser focus to be the best. And now she said that she's focusing on balance. And my question is this: to be the greatest of all time, can you have balance? Because you find that a lot of people, once they've made their mark, and once they've got their millions, and once they've reached a level, then they start talking about, but you need balance, you need this, you need that. But they didn't do that throughout the whole process of getting there. So you can't, I don't think you can. And I was having this conversation just before we came on, and it's just if you want to be in that 1% bracket, those at the elite of anything that you're doing, it requires so much sacrifice. It requires so much discipline. And I don't know if you can have balance. I really don't know if you can have balance to the I think if you look at all of the people that have reached it and you listen to their story, they didn't have balance.
No,
they talk about it after.
Yeah.
They talk about it after. They say you need to have balance. You need to make sure you're taking care of your mind. But no one did it through the process. So it makes me think, is it actually possible? Is it actually possible to get to the highest of the high with balance?
It's a good question, and you're right. Like, you do hear everyone talk about you've got X amount of hours in the day, you're sleeping for 8, you go to work for 8, and you're eating, so so maybe 20 hours have been consumed. What are you doing with those 4 hours? And like you say, it's pure obsession. And they all talk about the sacrifices they had to make in order to get there. And it's only once they've reached a certain level that they can kind of relax a little bit and then go, yeah, now I can have a bit of balance. But you don't really hear a lot about people saying like their partner, especially if they had children, their partner had to take on a lot more of the work in order to help and allow them to go and do that, or I couldn't go out with friends. And you do, and I think you're right. I don't know if you can have balance. Because
another thing is, like, a lot of people that have reached those heights, they become very unhappy, and that is because they haven't had the balance. They haven't been able to experience life for however many years because they've just been laser focused, like literally blinkers on. They're not, no distractions, no nothing. But I think it also comes down to knowing where you want to be and where you want to get to, like, and at the cost. Like, what's the cost of getting to that certain point? Like, do you want to be the best in your field? Or do you want to be at a position where you're like, do you know what? I've got to this position, but I still want to do X, Y, and Z with some of my free time. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think some of these people have free time either.
It does depend. I think some of them do, but it's still not to the level of, like,
it might be a day.
Yeah, it's a day.
A month. Like not every week. It's a day or every other week. Do you get what I'm saying? But I think when you're going out on your, like, for anybody that's watching this, like, when you're going out and setting out on your journey, I think early on, distinguish where are you trying to get to, so you can say, okay, I want to get here, which is probably going to mean that 3 years of absolute graft or 5 years with a bit of balance. Like, try and estimate it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so you can really think about your mind, because is it worth selling your soul for as well? Because a lot of people start out on the journey thinking, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then when they're knees deep into it, they're like, oh God, like, I can't lose this if I don't keep up momentum, X, Y, Z. So yeah, I think.
Really good point. And I think, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. You need to understand and see, well, what time do I have to commit to this? And a lot of people who have hit those heights quit a job, or like were all in, so that was their only focus. If you're not in the luxury of being able to do that, like we don't have that, you've got that job to balance. And Gary V talks about it a lot, and he talks about, you know, that work time, you've got to have that exact time. Then as soon as you're away, this needs to be your time to focus and really drill where you want to be. So yes, you're probably not going to get there as quickly, but like you're saying, it's 3 years just all out, or it's 5 years, but you're still going to get there. So it's just knowing that and accepting that timeline, and not, either way, it's a lot of work, and it's dedication, it's discipline, but just keep grinding and you will get there eventually.
And this is the thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's levels to it. So you really do have to determine early on in whatever it is that you're doing. Like, we started YouTube and we say, where do we actually want to go with this? Number one, we know is consistency. That's the key thing. Consistency, making sure you're showing up when you said that you were going to show up, which is why we chose once a week, isn't it? Because ideally we would like to put out more content more than once a week, but we know that we can wholeheartedly put out a video every single week.
Yeah. And then from there, and you get more used to the flow, and then you say, actually, we can commit to 2, and then definitely. But it is all about, like, everyone we've ever spoken to always talks about the cadence. You pick something and you have to commit, because then your followers get used to that time, and they're like, right, it's Friday, where's the video? You 100% have to be able to commit to it. And, you know, just linking back to Simone, I can imagine the amount of dedication and sacrifices she's had to make. And of course, people like elite level, loads of people struggled. Some were lucky enough to be able to still train, but a lot, they really didn't. So I can imagine that is your life, your world, and it's completely been taken away from you. Like, we can work from home. You can't do gymnastics from home unless you get some showers and you got some, you know, in your back garden. But yeah, it's incredible what she's achieved, and I think she's super inspiring, and it's very exciting to see at 24 where else she's going to go from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think she's teamed up with a couple of cool like campaigns. Like, I think she's with a company called Athleta. And basically they're working on the Power of She campaign, which celebrates power of women coming together to create an impact, which I thought was also very cool. So she's incredible.
Very cool.
Shout out to Simone Biles. So that's the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been your girl Bex.
And I've been Carly. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and we will see you next week.
Peace.